Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Caterpillar's Operators Stadium. I'm your host, Rutledge Wood. You might know me from NASCAR on NBC, Hyperdrive on Netflix, maybe even Top Gear on the History Channel. But I've been here all week having so much fun with my friends here at Caterpillar. We've done the Global Operator Challenge where we saw people from all over the world compete to do things that were insane. Next year we might make them, I don't know, maybe make a sandwich, like a bologna sandwich with a mini excavator. We saw them play golf. So I'm doing some incredible things, but we've got a great demo coming up for you at 2:30. Before that though, we have a real treat. A guy that you know and love, you remember him from Dirty Jobs, is program Micro Works and so many other things. I love to show on Facebook too. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Titan of the Trades with the one and only Micro. Mike, take it away.
Rutledge, thank you so much as always. I think I heard the words bologna sandwich used in the course of that introduction. Don't know what it means, but I have to admit, I'm titillated. If you're titillated, Titans of the Trades is the show for you. Sadly, this will be the last episode of CONEXPO, but it's going to be action-packed as always. The stakes are extraordinarily high. There are no fabulous prizes, but I'm surrounded by incredibly smart people. My guests, the contestants, are to my right. The experts are to the left. You know Lonnie and you know Jason. They'll be on hand to make sure I don't do anything too stupid or say anything patently untrue. Our contestants today, I'm happy to say, are also blessed with enormous brains. We have Arturo Santiago, who's the editor over at Grading and Excavation Magazine. And we also have Larry Stewart, who writes for ForConstructionPros.com. Is that right?
That is correct. Thank you.
So how long have you been writing for ForConstructionPro?
Well, I've been 10 years with ForConstructionPros.com, but I've been in the business about 30. I spent 20 years writing for a magazine. I'm a magazine writer without a magazine now.
That's the saddest story I've ever heard, Larry.
Well, thank you very much.
That's like a man without a country.
I am a man without a country.
An operator without a dozer. When you do write, what are the typical topics that you cover?
Well, I've been focusing on writing about technology and its application in the construction business. We have a crack staff of folks that handle a lot of the hardware issues, heavy equipment side of the business. And I think that the opportunity was in writing about technology, because I think that's where contractors really can make the most headway in their business.
Because it's changing every day, right? I mean,
right.
To really be current on what's going on with technology, it's like you can't even go to bed anymore. You've got to stay constantly connected.
Yeah, it's amazing how much there is to absorb and try to figure out how to apply to your business. It's because the application part of it is new for every business.
What's the world like over there at the Grading and Excavation?
Well, we cover a lot of the same things that Larry covers, the technology of it all, and we also like to talk about the contractors and the guys that are in the dirt and what their challenges are. And one of the big things that you and I were talking about a little bit earlier were the skilled trades. There's a lack of the young people coming into the skilled trades. So,
why do you think?
I think I have to agree with you, because I follow you a lot, Mike, and I think a lot of it is just promotion of those skilled trades when the kids are younger. And I think it should start at basically the elementary school level and having them play with we had Tonka trucks. You remember those?
I still have them.
Yeah, I still have mine too.
Yeah.
And so I think it starts there to get them interested in there. And then you got to when you get into the high school level, I think we have to change some of the thinking of counselors and the people that are pushing higher education and life beyond high school.
Yeah. Well, you're singing my song. I mean, for my money, maybe the dumbest thing we ever did in the history of education was remove shop class from high school.
Totally agree.
Because when we did that, we just took away every visual representation of what all these careers look like. So kids just have no idea. So I can't wait to pick your brains as we go. In fact, I'm going to start doing it right now. This is an aggressively simple format, gentlemen. I'm going to ask you a series of multiple choice questions. You'll ponder them in your heart, give your best answer, and if you're right, you get a point. And if you don't, well, you won't. In the end, there'll only be one winner, and you're on Titan Trades. There are no fabulous prizes. It's just this sheer joy of being up here in front of all these terrific people. So I guess, rather than say there are no winners, Lonnie, I guess I could say everyone's a winner.
Everyone is a winner. Everybody gets a blue ribbon these days, Mike.
Not up here, I'm just kidding. There will be deep shame and humiliation for whoever doesn't prevail. Having said all of that, these guys are here for your edification. If you would like some help with any of these questions, either of the expert would be happy to eliminate one of the choices for you, thereby increasing your odds of not being humiliated by roughly 25%. Shall we begin?
Indeed, let's.
All right, Arturo, the first question goes to you. And it goes a little something like this. On next generation CAT machines, which model is designed to deliver the best fuel efficiency? Is it A, the XE model, B, the GC model, C, the standard model, or D, none of the above?
How much time do I have?
All the time you need.
Okay. Am I allowed to
like 5
use my phone and...
You know, yeah, you can ask these guys to eliminate one. I mean, this question is probably out of your area.
All right, I think I'm going to ask Lonnie to eliminate one for me.
I don't blame him.
All right. We'll increase your Vegas odds, okay, Arturo? I can tell you that it's not B, the GC model.
By the way, Arturo, do you have any idea what GC stands for?
I'm nervous now, so...
Tell him.
It doesn't stand for anything. It's just simply
Doesn't stand for anything.
identifier. We'll leave it at that. Close the book on GC.
Okay. In my magazine, we shorten it. We call it GX. That's...
Now you're just delaying, Arturo. We're going to need an answer.
Okay. It's not B. I'm going to say A.
Arturo is going with A, the next generation CAT machine, which model is designed to deliver the best fuel efficiency. He says it's the XE model. Is Arturo correct? Of course he's correct. He's an editor of a magazine.
Take that, Larry Stewart.
Wow.
It's got to get
like the gloves come off early in the game. All right, so it's 1-0, but of course that's only because Larry hasn't been asked a question yet. Before I ask you a question, Larry, Lonnie, this is the part where you say something intuitive and smart and entirely unexpected about the XE.
The XE in the powertrains, primarily drivetrain, like in the D6 XE, provides about up to 35% more fuel efficient over its predecessor, the D16, and a lot of that has to do with the electric drive. So again, the XE is up to 35% over the lockup flex, which is 20% fuel efficiency.
When did the electric drive become a thing, Jason?
The original electric drive became a thing in the 40s for the very first one. We waited for that technology to become more adoptable, more compact, more sizable, and more economical to put in the machines. So you'll see that it's gone in the dozer line first because it seems to make most sense there economically. We looked at it in wheel loaders. We've chosen other technologies in the wheel loaders because of the application, the rim pull, the torque that are required. So we went to continuously variable transmissions in the wheel loader line, again to get that efficiency up and have the banner of the XE banner. So again, we're kind of doing it by models, by applications, and by the economics. Where it makes sense, we're going to apply that technology. You know, where it doesn't, we're not going to try to force that into the market yet.
I told you our experts were smart, but I'm continually blown away by their seemingly bottomless depth of knowledge, Jason. I was just throwing it out there. I had no idea. It's not like we rehearsed any of this. I'm just saying stuff, and there are times when I think you're just going to look at me like a cow looking at a new gate. And then there are times when you talk for 10 minutes, and it just blows me away. It's incredible.
It just comes from the heart, Mike.
I swear, you know what? If I could award you a point, I would right now, just for being you. But I can't. So I'm going to get back to the game.
Sounds good.
Mind. Where were we? Yes, the game. Larry, are you ready for your first question?
Yes, I am, Mike.
Good. It doesn't matter whether you are ready or not.
Didn't think so.
It's happening. Idle time is one of the largest and most misunderstood influences on fuel efficiency because idle time is A, impossible to avoid, B, impossible to measure, C, a fixed amount, or D, not actually a real thing.
Wow, Mike, that made a turn.
You know, every now and then we'll throw in a possibility that seems so unlikely it makes you say, that could be true.
Yeah, right, I know. You're just looking at it thinking, I thought I had a beat on that.
And then you don't.
Yeah, right.
That's what happens on Tight with the Trades. Anything can happen at any time.
I know the answer.
Good for you, Arturo. Wait in the car. All right, this is Larry's turn.
I knew the answer to the first one.
Teacher's pet. I bet you had a lot of friends in school growing up. I know the answer.
I know.
I know.
Oh, pick me. Impossible to avoid, impossible to measure. A fixed amount.
Two big-brained experts standing by to help increase your odds.
Help me out here, Jason. I'm lost, man.
What I'll do, Larry, I'll take one away for you. I can tell you it is not B, impossible to measure.
Well, that means it's either impossible to avoid a fixed amount or not actually a real thing.
That was actually the only one I was sure about.
The not actually real thing?
No, the impossible to measure one.
Yeah, well,
I still think it could not actually be a real thing, but I've been, like, one of my friends is Buddhist. And so there's that whole,
You got a Buddhist friend?
Nothing is real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I find that really confusing.
Well, what if your Buddhist friend isn't real?
Crap.
Think about that.
Wow, dude. All right, well, I'm starting to sweat now.
Good, because I'm starting to fall asleep.
Oh,
Give me that.
good. Yeah, all right. How about it's down? It's C.
It's C. He says it's C, a fixed amount. He says that idle time is one of the largest and most misunderstood influences on fuel efficiency because it's a fixed amount. Is he right? No, he's not right. And you can tell from that sound of disappointment, better known as our buzzer, which goes off every now and then when somebody says something this category and exponentially incorrect.
Yeah, right. It's a disappointing sound.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Never in the history
Chosen.
never in the history of life, work, or game shows has meant anything good.
Yeah.
Lonnie, what was going through his mind when he looked at that and came up with that answer, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, if it was a fixed amount, hopefully it wouldn't be too high, but unfortunately, the industry standard is around 25 to 35% of idle time. Machines and people waiting on direction, waiting on something to happen, or a support machine so the productive machine can go forward. So while it is avoidable, there's a lot of opportunity out there to drive down idle time and increase those productivity, efficiency, and profitability at the end of the day.
Jason, they say that the idle brain is the devil's playground. And here we are, looking at some idle time out here for just a few moments. But I mean, surely a little bit of idle time, not a terrible thing, is it?
No, a little bit of idle time is good, but you don't want too much idle time because then it's like me, I'm usually in HR for a while if I have too much idle time. But you talk to a lot of customers and they'll tell you flat out, look, I don't have idle time. My people are working 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. Well, that's actually not true. You base things on a 50-minute hour. You take a trip to the Blue Hut, you're going to leave the machine running. You're going to let it warm up longer than 5 minutes in the morning. So it's absolutely possible to avoid. If you can get it to the range that Lonnie just mentioned, 25 to 30%, that's a pretty efficient operation because you're always going to have idle time in it. Where you don't want it to get is above 50% because it's just killing you. It's just taking money out of your bottom line. You're burning fuel, not doing anything. So you want to be able to measure it with telematics or any other type of methodology. If you can measure it, you can manage it. If you can manage it, you can correct it. And that's what you want to do with idle time.
Right now, for instance, by way of illustration, we have a moment of idle time. We've left the actual game to listen to an expert, and we don't. We want to do that because we want to learn, but if we learn too much too quickly in one spasm of brilliance, then we venture into that relative corollary of idle time that is, in fact, a de facto enemy of all fake game shows. Lonnie, would you concur?
I would concur. It is unavoidable.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Arturo?
Yes, sir.
You've leapt into a commanding lead to the tune of 1 point.
It's commanding?
In this game,
okay.
Yeah, it's devastating. You're literally running away with it. You have a chance now to blow it completely wide open with this question. Which best describes how grade technology reduces fuel use? A, it just does. B, more accuracy means less fuel burn. C, the display shows your fuel use. Or D, the grade system uses different fuel.
I think I'm going to ask Jason to give me a hand here with and eliminate one of these.
Jason, do that.
All right,
you do.
I will take one away for you. It is not D.
It is not D?
It is not D as in dog. The
not
grade
D as in
system
dog.
does not use different fuel.
Okay.
Not D as in dog.
Correct.
Jason, that was extremely helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just want to say you two guys, Lonnie, Jason, you guys are doing a great job. Okay.
You are
You know what? I'm not even sure what I'm doing here.
We don't assign the points though, so I'm sorry. You got to talk to this guy.
A little embarrassing.
He's looking for a bonus
It is
point.
awkward. It is.
Did it help any? Let's see. I'm going to go with B. More accuracy means less fuel burn.
Arturo says it's B. B as in boy. Is Arturo correct? Yes, he is. More accuracy means less fuel burn.
Larry, you got to hang out with me more, buddy. I'm telling you.
All right, let's not quote Arturo. I'll get back to you in a moment. Why is he correct, Lonnie?
You're completely correct, Arturo. You can get to grade a lot quicker, more accurately, carry grade precisely across the entire surface. You know, grade control empowers the operators with more information than they ever had before at their fingertips in the display of their machines, like we've seen demonstrated so well here this week. We're no longer following those grade stakes and those grade hubs, which somehow wood conducts a magnetic field sometimes. It just sucks to those blades as the operators tend to knock them out in trying to work around those obstacles. So with all that being said, we're not looking for that information every 25, 50, 100 feet. We have it every inch of the way.
Arturo, you edit a magazine that has to do with grading, correct?
Yes, that is correct. It's in the name. Yeah, it's in our title.
To have missed a question like that.
It would have been extremely embarrassing.
Deeply humiliating.
Yes.
Deeply. Jace, you got anything to add to that? I mean, I can't imagine you do because Lonnie touched on a lot, but you never know with you, so I have to ask.
I'll just throw in something quick. All the great technologies, I mean, it goes to the skilled labor shortage. You can get a novice operator on a machine with grade control, and they can be an experienced operator very, very quickly by following the system. And as Lonnie mentioned, you know, the faster they can do it, the faster you are off the job, less cost you're spending, less fuel you're burning doing that particular job.
It's another terrific point, and I'm going to double down on it. In your industry, right now, if you had to guess, how many open positions exist, and what is the path to prosperity in your industry vis-a-vis skilled trades?
Skilled trades, that's a big question, Mike, and I think I don't know the answer to that.
Give him another point. I appreciate that level of honesty. I really do. I mean, we have 7.3 million open jobs right now in this country.
Right.
I wonder how many exist specifically in your vertical. I bet a bunch.
I'm sure there are a lot. And one of the pieces of information that we put out in our newsletter, we talk a lot about and promote a lot of the lack of the skilled trades. And I don't know the exact numbers, to be honest with you, Mike, but I know it's a problem, and I know that contractors are having trouble hiring and finding skilled operators to get within their ranks.
No doubt. All right, great. I am stalling for time just a little bit because as I do the math in my head, it's 2-0. Now, Larry gets another question, but unless I don't understand the basic mechanics of math, there's no way he can win. And yet, because there are no actual prizes involved, I'm going to ask him a question anyway, just to see if he gets something right before we wrap up our final episode of Untitled Trade.
You can at least give me a chance to suck up a little. You know,
Exactly.
Because it's working for Arturo.
It really is. All right, here we go then. Larry, what machine works best for advanced power, long hours, and lowering fuel use by up to 25%? Is it the GC model, the standard model, the XE model, or John Henry?
Oh gosh, John Henry, I love him.
Do you?
Well, I mean the story, I guess.
John Henry died with a hammer in his hand,
That's
if I
right,
recall,
that's right, yeah.
I mean, if you believe that sort of thing.
Yeah, I believe everything. I'm very gullible.
That's why you're on this show, Larry.
Does your Buddhist friend believe that, though?
What's that?
Does your friend believe that as well, or
Your
no?
Buddhist friend.
Yeah, you know, he probably does, but then doesn't at the same time. You know, that's the kind of guy he is.
That's the kind
He's a surfer.
of show this is. What machine works best for advanced power, long hours, and lowering fuel use by up to 25%? The GC model, the standard model, the XE model, the John Henry?
You know, I think it's the XE model. The answer is C, I believe.
C, as in Charlie.
Charlie.
Larry says it's the XE model. Is Larry correct? Yes, he is, and he leaves with a measure of dignity. Good for you, Larry. That's fantastic.
I don't even know what a measure of dignity feels like.
No?
No, that'd be the first time.
Well, if I remember right, you're also a magazine writer in search of a magazine to write for.
That's right. I mean, I'm used to just wandering around without any dignity.
Let me ask you this. As a writer, do you approach your work as a trade? Do you think of yourself as a tradesman?
Yeah, I do. Frankly, I think it's aspirational in a lot of senses. I come from a family of tradesmen.
Yeah.
My dad climbed power poles for a power utility in Missouri, and we lived in the same block. We had this little tribe. Growing up, my dad lived in the same block with his brother's family and his sister's family. There were representatives for the water company and the gas company and the electric company all living on the street there in this little Archie Bunker neighborhood in St. Louis. And, so I always admired those guys, and so I kind of consider it a trade. I think journalism is one of those things that almost anybody can do. They put their mind to it and get desperate enough. So yeah, that's what I think. I have a degree, but it
Didn't do you any good in this show, did it?
No, it didn't do me a darn bit.
Nothing. I'm going to circle back in a second, give you guys a chance to say anything relevant, germane, or otherwise interesting about this whole XE model line.
Yeah, so the XE is a modifier that Caterpillar uses on our products that show the maximum power, the ultimate in technology and performance for those very heavy-duty applications. It's kind of the pace setter. I always like to use the example of the excavator that's digging the trench on an underground utilities crew compared to maybe the 950M or 950GC even as more of a support machine. So it's the pace setter, again, maximum lift capacities, maximum technology, and just the overall durable machine that's needed for the highest in performance. It's in that performance class of our product lineup.
A brief detour, Jason, but how much training is required to become truly facile at operating the XE?
The XE does have all the technology on it, so there is a little bit more of a learning curve, but with proper training, we've seen operators that haven't been in that particular machine, whether it's that product or product family, again, using the technology because it assists them to get up to speed faster. They'll be fully productive within a couple days on that particular job with that particular machine. Compare that to a GC and maybe a couple hours before they're fully efficient on that particular machine. Again, kind of based on where they're coming from, what basic skills they have, but operator training is key for any machine today to make sure that you are maximizing the benefits of that particular platform.
Arturo, on a scale of 1 to 10, you feel like how much do you think you learned just by being a contestant here on Untitled Chapter?
Just here as a contestant.
Just here as a contestant.
The whole week.
No, just here right now. Yeah.
I think I learned a lot. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would say 9 plus.
9 plus. Larry, you?
I think Arturo's making me a little nauseous.
It's shameless sucking up. It's pandering. He's already won. We've made it clear there are no prizes.
Yeah.
So
Larry's the reason why I didn't give it a complete 10.
Yeah.
You brought it down a notch, buddy.
Well, thank you for that. I don't really know that I'm capable of learning things, Mike. I think I've reached my capacity this week. I'm losing it.
So Larry is completely tapped out. He no longer has the ability to learn things. Arturo is so busy sucking up, it really comes as no shock that he's won. On the positive side, there are no prizes, as we mentioned, but this is a perfect way to wrap this show up. What a great, fun time we've had here the last couple of days. Guys, thanks for your expertise, as always.
Thank you.
Hey, Jess, are you and I going to have a chat a little bit? Good. I'm going to be talking with Jess again in about 10 or 15 minutes or something like that. You guys were terrific. Thanks for editing the way you edit. Thanks for writing the way you used to write. I mean, maybe one day again, you'll be back in the saddle. And I'm sorry about the lack of prizes. As for the rest of you, thank you for being here, and enjoy the rest of your time. I'll see you soon.
You build things that last. That's why you surround yourself with people you can rely on. A cat dealer's name is a promise on everything we do, from helping you get into your cat to protecting, updating, and servicing it. It's our way of saying we know there's so much more riding on it than just you. Let's do the work.